Have you noticed that it feels like we are all in a giant pressure cooker? That the discomfort, maybe even pain and pressure, is going up and up and up and up, and the relief never seems to come? You may have found yourself wondering, what in the hell is happening? Well, there's actually a reason that this is happening, and knowing that reason may just help you to find your way out of the pressure cooker. In today's episode, I'm going to explain to you what this pressure cooker is all about, as well as what you can do about it. The dynamic that is at the root of all of this is mankind's tendency and capacity to exist in an out-of-alignment state of being. In this context, what does it mean to be out of alignment? Or, let's start with, what does it mean to be in alignment? It means for there to be an agreement and harmony rather than discrepancy and conflict in the way you exist, both internally and externally. This implies thinking, saying, and doing things that are true to who you are, that are in line with your well-being, that are consistent with what is truly right for you, and that are a match to what you truly value and truly desire. So that you understand this better, let's say that what you truly want is to be in supportive relationships. To keep yourself in relationships with people who prove to be unsupportive is to be out of alignment. Or let's say that you value family above all else, but you spend the majority of your time working away from them. This is to be out of alignment, right? Or let's say that the truth of who you are is that you are a leader, but you are consistently choosing to follow so as to avoid conflicts. This is to be out of alignment. You see, let's say that what is in alignment with your well-being is to be in nature. Let's say that you live in a city, though. Okay, this is out of alignment. When your thoughts, your words, behaviors, values, health, desires, choices, and actions are not consistent with one another, you are out of alignment. People tend to go out of alignment and then develop strategies to tolerate misalignment rather than seeking true change that brings them into alignment. It isn't like life is going to go good for you, by the way, when you do this. Life hurts. Things feel wrong. But if you're like most people, you try to take the edge off that pain in some way so that you can handle that out of alignment state of being. And because of this, you are unresponsive to the pain and pressure and signs that you are out of alignment, as well as to universal promptings to get back into alignment. Knowing all of this, the pressure cooker dynamic is down to two things. The first is, when you're out of alignment in some way, you are lining up with what is not true to who you are, not in line with your well-being, not what is truly right for you, and not what you truly value and truly desire. Your energy will be going to these things, right? These unwanted things. And so more and more and more of that will manifest in your lived experience. A worsening and worsening will naturally occur. Now, this causes the pain and pressure to go up, kind of like you're in a pressure cooker. 2, the universe is enhancing this worsening with a kind of pressure cooker dynamic. It's intensifying discomfort and negative effects of misalignment due to people's non-responsiveness to it, so that you can't ignore it and you can't cope with it anymore. It's doing so in order to snap people back into alignment. The universe is snapping people into alignment and into their rightful place by making misalignment too painful to maintain. This process is not just happening at a personal level, it is also happening at a more macrocosmic level with humanity and the world itself. This is why you see such an amplification of what was and what is out of alignment within humanity and within the world at large. So we're seeing this amplification happen as crises in people's personal lives, as well as crises within the whole populations of people. We're seeing it manifest as destruction or death in people's personal lives, and also destruction and death on a global level. We're seeing the worst expressions of self in individuals, but also in governments. You may be seeing an amplification of health issues in yourself as an individual, but you're also seeing an amplification of ill health relative to the environment, especially where nature and humans meet, right? Not in alignment. This pressure cooker dynamic is unbearable because it is designed to be. It is designed to be a way of making it so that a person literally cannot stay out of alignment anymore. And so that the collective of humanity and the world cannot stay out of alignment. It's designed to make it so that people have literally no other way out than to snap, but to snap back into alignment. Well, let's just be honest about this. This is not often a smooth or a pretty process. After all, people have very real reasons for being out of alignment and for staying out of alignment. very real terrors and even very real pains that they're up against in getting back into a state of alignment. And so the resistance to getting into alignment is huge. People tend to try to resist harder when the pressure cooker dynamic is occurring as well. They double down on their coping mechanisms and go more and more out of alignment before snapping back into alignment. It's one of the reasons why people seem to be going so incredibly insane and mentally ill right now. You're probably recognizing some of this in the people in your life already, if not in yourself. Some people have a higher tolerance for discomfort and pain, specifically the discomfort and pain that comes with being out of alignment. This makes them far less responsive in general. When this is the case, the pressure will increase until they literally reach a snapping point. Humanity, unfortunately, has demonstrated a tolerance for what is out of alignment on a collective level, especially for collective unhappiness and unwellness. So here, too, there is a snapping point. Change is being forced. People can no longer somewhat uncomfortably remain in misaligned states. So to give you a taste of this pressure cooker, say that someone is struggling with feeling powerless and wants to be able to actually do things that bring about a better result, but say that they are acting out of alignment with their own personal power. This pressure cooker is going to escalate situations where they experience disempowerment, and in worse, disempowerment, until they can't take it anymore and reclaim their power. They may take an empowered action and be forced to draw on a powerful inner resource. Or, for example, say that someone values something like integrity, but they keep behaving in flaky ways. The consequences of behaving flaky will escalate, and so will situations that cause them to become aware of the fact that they're flaky. They will encounter flaky people everywhere they go and suffer from the consequences that these people create. Until, snap, there's an acknowledgement that they are flaky and that they have to keep their word and be on time and follow through and keep the plans they set and stay true to their commitments and also promises. Or let's say that people in general are in a position of valuing freedom and kindness, but they're part of a country with a government that restricts their freedoms and behaves in corrupt and cruel ways. Well, this is going to escalate. It's going to become worse and worse and worse until they finally snap and they sort of act to bring about the kind of freedom that they're wanting. Maybe demanding a new form of government might be something that you would see. Of course, these examples are objective pictures of what is occurring. They do absolutely no justice to the actuality of such an experience, any more than saying they were plunged into frigid waters does justice to the actual experience that those that were on the Titanic endured when they actually plunged into the North Atlantic Ocean, which happened to be about 28 degrees Fahrenheit, or for those of you that are in the rest of the world, -2 degrees centigrade. So what should you do about all of this? 1, accept that even though it does not feel like it, from objective perspective, what feels like it is happening against you in your life is actually happening for you. And accept that you are not going to get out of the pressure without making serious changes to turn what is out of alignment into what is in alignment. And those changes may be extremely hard. It will snap you. To use a popular phrase relative to this particular pressure cooker dynamic, your resistance is futile. 2, get ahead of the universal pressure cooker. You want to take proactive action. Stop putting up with discomfort. Stop tolerating what feels wrong. Do not wait for discomfort to escalate. Notice the increased discomfort you're feeling in whatever area of life and use it to define what is not right for you. Recognize what is out of alignment. Identify what is a no for you, i.e. misaligned, draining, wrong, and stop doing it. Identify what's a yes for you, that means aligned, authentic, right, and commit to it. Where is there agreement and harmony in yourself and in your life? And where is there discrepancy and conflict in yourself and in your life experience? How are you thinking, saying, and doing things that are not in line with your well-being, that are inconsistent with what is truly right for you, and that are the opposite of what you truly value and truly desire? I want you to really think about this. If the heat gets turned up on this in the situation I'm in, and the situation worsens, if I were to act in alignment with what I truly want, what would my reaction be? What will I do? What will be a yes? And what will be a no for me? 3, immediately start making changes that will become necessary later if things get worse. Take steps in advance to align with what is genuinely right for you. Keep in mind that when it comes to alignment, it never works to just do fill in the blank that's out of alignment so that you can get fill in the blank that's in alignment with what you do want. There is no such thing as misalignment now so that I can get alignment later. very important to remember that because it's real tempting when we want to get out of the situations that we're in to think that way. Consider first, what am I wanting? And from this place, in this vision, with this vision in mind, consider what to do and how to deal with things, especially unwanted situations, in a way that is in alignment with what you truly want. Believe me, the way matters. The way has to be in alignment with what you truly want. Okay, so in order for you to understand this better, I'm going to be giving you a real life example. Let's look at River. River just turned 40. River grew up in a childhood home that really did not adjust for her best interest in any way. The house revolved around her mother, who was diagnosed with a severe anxiety disorder. In order to adapt to this environment, which was out of alignment for River to be in the first place, River was really on her own to accomplish anything she wanted to accomplish. She did not have real support. Rather, her parents would do things for her only if it served their best interests in some way. So let's say that she really wanted a bike so that she could go to a class that she was really wanted to go to because she loved a certain sport, right? Well, let's say that they wanted her to go preoccupy herself so that they could have time without the pressure of watching children. Okay, then they would buy her a bike. But of course, it couldn't be a bike to put any pressure on them, so it would be like the crappiest bike they could find. So she would then use that bike to get wherever she wanted to go. River overcompensated for the lack of actual support by becoming super competent and capable and putting all the pressure on herself because she couldn't put any on others. The problem is it was out of alignment for River to pick up all the pressure and take it on for everyone else. Over time, this has gotten her into more and more trouble. She keeps getting into situations where people ride her coattails and set up gaslighting situations where they profess to be supporting her, but really it's the other way around. They're coasting on River. It has become a real support me so that I can support you dynamic. River is now a company owner. Surprise, surprise. Is anyone surprised? No. But she has been so out of alignment in this way. She wants to be supported. She really does need a team that is pulling their own weight and that is taking pressure off of her. But when the company gets into a pinch, surprise, surprise, the people in her company always find a way to put the pressure back on her to do what it takes to pull them all out of the hot water. Some days she wonders why she even has people working for her if she has to do everything so that they can get their paycheck. This situation in this pressure cooker dynamic gets worse and worse and worse and worse. The man that she hires as a CEO embezzles money, puts the company in debt, all personally secured by River herself, before bailing without finding a replacement. The company has no money to sue. The rest of the company doesn't hustle to make enough to cover expenses, leaving River to take on double the work to cover for it. Oh, but it gets worse. The woman who replaces the old CEO gets them into even deeper trouble, but this time with taxes and with slipping into the behavior of passivity. River feels like she has to do everything herself, which she literally can't do given that she has a very specific role within the company that can't be dropped, and certainly not in a company of its size. Despite it being impossible to do, and I mean literally impossible to do, more people start bailing out of the company, leaving her to have to downsize actually and sell her personal house to cover the debt. River's health takes a really, really bad turn because of all the pressure she is abandoned to deal with alone. River is brought to an absolute snapping point. The snapping point of, I cannot carry other people on my shoulders. I literally cannot do it anymore. I am putting the pressure that people should be carrying back on them and then holding them accountable to it. And if they refuse to take it, I do not want them in my life. I do not want them in my company. And if this means I have to fold my company, then I'm going to do it and find some other way to do what I do. That's a hell of a snapping point to get her to, right? If River had realized this pressure cooker dynamic were happening, she would have stopped tolerating the discomfort of people putting all the pressure on her. Every time it happened, when it was very, very small, she would have put the pressure back on them. She also would have put in, let's say, necessary preventative measures to ensure that they couldn't do so in sneaky ways, like using her name to take on debt, or accessing her accounts, or getting into dispersed responsibility dynamics within the business, so nobody can be held accountable. She would have started to set up the structure of the company and her personal life, actually, in general, in different ways, where she isn't the backup plan for literally everything that could possibly go wrong. She would proactively practice the art of letting other people pull their weight and putting pressure on other people and making them face the ways that they are refusing to take pressure. pressure that should be theirs to take. Another thing might be that she would have proactively started doing trauma work relative to the lack of support that she experienced. And let's say that even if we go outside of all of these things and into her romantic life, when a man ceases to put in effort to stay connected and to make the relationship good, she would stop herself from overcompensating for his lack of effort and instead mirror his effort level. Of course, this means being willing to potentially experience the pain of relationship loss. Remember how I said there's real reasons why people resist snapping back into alignment? Because sometimes it means things like that. In alignment with this pressure cooker dynamic that is currently going on in such an extreme way, and people's general lack of unresponsiveness to all the things on the road to a level 10 reflection of misalignment, a lot of people are experiencing or are going to be experiencing the things that catalyze drastic change. Things like crisis, things like loss, death, drastic worsening, health issues, wars, drastic political shifts, climate catastrophes, traumas, things coming to an abrupt end, collapse of things that we're dependent on, relationship patterns becoming intolerable, the arrival of a baby, financial disasters, geographical moves, accidents, these types of things. Many of which, by the way, can be considered kind of dystopian. And if you're like so many of us currently struggling big time in this pressure cooker situation, another good video of mine to watch is the How Might This Be For Me exercise. Again, it does not feel like any of what you're experiencing is for you, but this pressure cooker you are in is trying to make you aware of what is not in alignment and to snap you back into alignment. Ultimately, to put you back into alignment with what is really good and right for you, what you really truly want also. And the more ahead of this process that you can get, the better. Have a good week.